Hello, everybody. This is Dyer's Gaming. It has been a while since I've done a video. Apologize about that. I end up switching games from Life After and came back to World of Warcraft, a game that I originally played when it very first came out. Um, I think I was like 14 years old when Vanilla first launched for WoW. I ended up finding out about it from my father's friend because his son and uncles played. So I ended up playing with them. That was back before DSL, before cable internet, definitely before fiber optic. This was back on AOL dial up, which is pretty crazy doing 40-man raids. But I was looking for a kind of a vanilla experience with WoW. I stopped playing retail around Warlords of Draenor for a couple reasons. So one, when it first launched, the game had a lot of issues and it ended up crashing, and we were all out of the game for pretty much almost a whole day. Second, get in it, start going through it, and notice that the content was very rushed. The content was very light. They didn't even give us a new raid originally. It didn't even come till later in the phase. They really rushed it, and then the game just got way too easy. They start catering to the newer generations of gamers, uh, and it just took the fun out of the game. You know, the whole premise of WoW when it first came out was, it really forced you. You had to talk with other people and build friendships and get people to even do questing and stuff like that because things were a lot harder back then. There used to be no raid finder. There used to be no dungeon finder. You had to go there with the group you were in. So I mean, it really forced you to be social. Now you got to imagine this is at a time gamers were different. Most of the gamers at the time were, I would say, probably late 30s into 40s that was playing WoW. Um, even older. You didn't have all the crazy stuff you have now with the toxic, with the kids, the trolling, the racism, the always politics and world chat type of stuff. You didn't have that. The mindset was different back then. Even the generation that I'm from, that originally started it, we didn't even really do it. But we were brought up. We were brought up different. We was really the last of that. Kids today, they have no respect for others, unfortunately, and they've killed many games, especially the previous game I came from with the hacking uh, and the stalking and stuff like that. I mean, it's bad. Um, but back to World of Warcraft, so I kind of was looking for a vanilla experience. I thought about going back to retail and playing classic WoW, but my original account actually got hacked, and they wiped all my raid gear. I mean, literally took everything I had, every like transmog gear as well that I had. I had like all the top raid gear. It was gone, which is the second count that happened since Mr. Pandaria, when they really start allowing the Chinese player base. Then that's when a lot of that really started happening. I even had the Blizzard authenticator. That didn't help. It got so bad that Blizzard had to lock my account. Um, which getting my account back is easy. The problem is they wiped everything. It's gone. So I really don't want to go through that again, play it, and then something else happened and I get everything wiped again because someone brute forced in and stole everything. Um, so I start looking at private servers options, which is something I've never done, and I came across here Warmane, which is, it's had its fair shares of mixed reviews, but it's their most, I would say, probably one of the most popular private servers. They have a server here called Nixia, which is the progressive realm. So right now it's it is in their vanilla phase, but it is moving to the Burning Crusade, as you can see here in the news. So November the 2nd is a pre-patch, which will allow you to get the 2 additional races that comes with Burning Crusade, which would be the Blood Elves for the Horde, and the Draenor for the Alliance, the big ugly looking guys. So right now, they have 5x experience rate for original, which is going to be 1 through 60. They moved the raids down to 25 man to make it a little easier to get teams, but I did saw in the patch for Burning Crusade they're actually moving this back to 40 man. They did add the Dungeon Finder now, which is the change of life that came later, which I do like it. Not having that when it first came out, you know, that was then, but now I think it's needed, especially if you're out in the world and just questing, you're waiting for like RDF, which is, you know, a random dungeon. You can do that, not sit there, have to wait at the instance and get a group for it. So that's something I really like. Now, when Burning Crusade comes out, so 60 to 70 will be times 3, but you can manually change it back to times 1. And then vanilla will stay 5x, which is, I think, is fair. So I have 2 accounts here. I have a level 60 paladin I already have set up on Alliance. I started playing on Alliance originally because my very first character in World of Warcraft was a paladin. Actually, I used to tank, but I'm actually doing a ret paladin. They do a little less damage in vanilla and TBC, but they're really good at pulling off buffs, buff into groups and stuff like that for raids. So that's why I'm doing a rep build. It's primarily so the main here I'll load in here. So I'll load here and here at the Great Forge. But so your primary essentially abilities for rep build is like Steel Crusade, Judgment, and then Steel Command, which will use with auto attacks, and then drop a concentration now, which is going to be an AoE. And then you're going to have your buffs here for the party, depending on what spec they are. There's a couple ways of doing this. So let me pull up. Hold on. So here is my my talent specs. So you have a couple here in Holy here. Kind of go over here. What do I got? I'm focused with the concentration, which gets me a little more deep, a little more DPS. Now there's another build you can do where you don't pick this, and instead you do. Let me find it right here. Blessing of Kings. So Blessing of Kings. So if you take this instead, essentially what this means. Is when you're popping your abilities here, like for Blessing of Might, Blessing of Wisdom, or Salvation, it increases the time. So right now it's 5 minutes, and it's going to increase the time up to, I think it's 25 minutes. So you're spending less time buffing, but you're going to miss out on concentration build. Pretty much, you're just going to be Seal Command and auto attacks. A lot less damage. So I like to have a little bit more DPS in the mix, and I really don't mind having to put this up in 5 minutes. You know, it's really not that hard. You just constantly watch it. And there's add-ons and stuff you can use as well, like EVUI, which I have. I just don't have it installed right now because I'm using the basic. Here's like one of my last fights here, so it kind of gives you an idea here where most of your damage is coming out of. So it's going to be auto attack, Seal Command, and then concentrate. So out of the other paladins, so like this guy here had the other spec. Oh no, not this guy. This guy here had the other spec, which is the one that gives you the higher. You can see so much less damage. I don't want to be that much useless in raids, so I prefer to go with this spec, which is really good. And you focus on two-hand. You want to, so the ideal is you want a fast swing speed, so going with sword. But you can't use axe on this anyway. So sword is going to be your best bet. So I got this one to 60, and this one's set. Now, I think I'm probably going to end up moving. So it looks like they're going to allow us to move, I think, one character, one faction or the other. So if that's the case, I probably would move this to Horde, which would turn into Blood Elf, because Blood Elves would be the classic PvC that gets power. So I want to show you guys server pop is really good actually. So we are going to go ahead and go over to Stormwind. Also, if we look here in global chat, you can see a lot of things going on. People talk about raids. People crying about PvP, typical. People doing a lot of guild recruiting right now because the TPC is going to launch. So there's a lot of people coming back to the game.
What can I do for you?
PvC is a lot more popular than vanilla. I'm not a big fan of vanilla either myself. One of the things I did not like is with vanilla raids, you had to have all the different world buffs and all that stuff, which I thought was cancer. It was dumb. I didn't like that. With vanilla, also vanilla is going to have a lot more of your elitist players of that. I thought that the direction that they went in TVC as well as Wrath of the Lich King was really good. I didn't even mind Cataclysm. I know a lot of people didn't like Cataclysm because of the heroics and that. I actually liked Cataclysm. I think another reason why people don't like Cataclysm changed the world map dramatically. It was the starting of the change of the world map, where a lot of maps, how they look completely changed because of the Cataclysm event. And then Miss Pantheria did as well. A little bit, and then also from there. Cataclysm I didn't mind. Miss Pantheria started getting really too kid-friendly. They really got to catch them all with the whole Pokemon thing. But I didn't mind the monks. I thought the monks were a really good class to play. I thought it was fun. You could play DPS healer or tank. But Warlords was just kind of the end for me, and then that's kind of when I stopped. So we're heading back to Stormwind. I got a couple add-ons going. Obviously, I had the damage done. I'm kind of while we're waiting to go to Stormwind here. Stuff like Atlas Auctioneer, details, quest helper. On the add-ons, activate it right now. This is a nice little handy tool too. This is really useful for Paladin. Also here is your Auroras for Paladin as well, so you have like your Devastation, your Retribution, Concentration. So this is this one, like, spell damage, and then these are really useful too, especially for raids and dungeons, depending what you're in, like the shadow resistance, frost resistance, fire resistance. So just really depending on the fight, what you guys are going into. I have Sanity Aurora on, which is in my build, increases holy damage by 10. A raid group would most likely want this on it because anybody that gets hit is going to do damage back to them, which is nice. And then obviously if you have multiple paladins in the party, it's good too, because someone can pop like Deviation One of the big things that's very useful for a paladin, especially retribution, is blessing salvation. So what this one does is, so for like a healer or a caster, that's going to generate a lot of threat with their abilities. This is actually going to reduce that threat on them, which is going to help the tank out as well from it pulling it to them. Because you definitely don't want the threat going to the healer. Healer wipes, we all know what happens after that. It's a done deal after that. So as you see, we first spawn in here. We hit to the Griffin Master here. We already see a couple people. So this is your main city hub here for Alliance. For those who never played WoW, this is Stormwind. This is actually a human city, but it tends to be the main hub for everybody in Alliance here. This is where everybody's usually going to hang out. So you see, we definitely got some people here. You know, this is going to be your bank hub here. You have an inn over here, and then auction houses over here. Pretty cool. And then we are going to show Horde as well. Let's have a warrior, and I'm leveling up to 60 right now. So right now I'm in Booty Bay, which is a neutral zone. So the red, these are Alliance players. Booty Bay is going to be a Horde.
Time is money, friend.
So we are going to make our way to Orgrimmar. Now the Horde right now is a lot bigger population. A lot of that has to do with some vanilla, maybe racials. So racials, depending on what your race is, Horde had better racials. By far. So a lot more people want Horde because of that. TBC should start seeing a little more balance.
Brawlhall.
Nope.
Go forth to victory.
I didn't think it was going to allow me to do that. Alright, so I am going to go to Hammerfall real quick. And we're going to take the Beastmasters back to Undercity, and then from the Undercity,
Zug zug.
we're going to take the Flying Blimp to Orgrimmar. And then I'll show you the huge difference in population here. Now this is open world PvP as well. So it is a PvP server. My warrior, I am actually doing DPS. I am a Fury build. So this build is kind of one of the OG builds from vanilla that some people kind of overlooked or forgot about. Uses a couple specs here in ARM, not many, but mostly you're going to be in Fury. So this is where it's already knocked out the ARM ones where this is where it stops. You don't put no more in. The rest, you'll just kind of start going down in here. But this is actually a Fury Slam build, which requires two-handed axe, which is going to give you your fastest attack speed. You're going to be changing in multiple stances here, so you're going to be going like battle stance with berserker stance back and forth. So really, like, you know, using like charge, which generates your rage. And you're going to keep Thunderclap and Ren on the target. So Thunderclap blasts nearby enemies with thunder, increases the time between their attacks by 10% for 22 seconds. So very useful. And then Ren keeps bleed on them. So once you do that, you will be switching over to your Berserker stance. Rage if you need to, so get your rage up. Depending if you're in an AoE situation or not, So if you're not, so essentially when you do a auto attack and you land a white damage, so which is just a basic attack, and it hits, you get a white damage number, then you will pop slam. Slams the opponent, causing weapon damage, plus 43. But with this build, with doing high crit, it hits hard. And then another useful ability is going to be execute. So when you have less than 20% health, you will want to pop execute and Berserker stance because of the critical hit chance. But this build is very very OP for PvE. I do not have the PvP build up. I have the gold, obviously. I have the gold here on this server to do it. It's 100 gold, the dual spec. But I'm waiting to. This one gets 60, so I can do the talents right for the PvP, and then I'll have both specs and hot bars that I wanted to have it in certain order that I like it to make it useful. Okay, so we got a little more 50 seconds. We are going to head to the Undercity, which is the undead main hub, which is one of the orc territories. There again, main hub area usually is the orc city of Orgrimmar. It's the main horde headquarters, and during Vanilla, Thrall is still the leader of the horde. Bloodscreen or Hellscreen didn't become until after Cataclysm, ending of Cataclysm, and then he ends up attacking the Alliance for Calidor. So he ends up attacking the Alliance port over here, drops a mana bomb on it, blows it up. They get in a big fight out seas, and then they end up finding themselves on this abandoned area. They lost the island essentially. Alright, so we're gonna go up here. So the Undercity is actually a city underneath Lordaeron, which is one of the main human places that the Lich King killed his father and pretty much burned it all down. And sick and twisted, the undead that broke away from the Lich King, which become the Forsaken Army, decide to have their main hub underneath the former stronghold of the humans. Sick and twisted. One thing I liked about World of Warcraft is I actually had to go somewhere to travel. You just quick travel anywhere you wanted. Which just made the world feel so much bigger when it was done like that. Obviously we just missed our ride, so we're gonna have to wait a little bit until it comes back. As you can see, I'm playing a Undead. Undead is probably my favorite looking race in and vanilla, and I actually like the animations better on the undead on the classic more than I do when they enhanced the graphics and change. Like, you know, obviously brought it more in the modern age, but when it comes to the undead, I thought the undeads, the older version of them, I thought looked the best. Now orcs, I thought looked super ugly, but the what graphic limitations back in 2004 was not the same as it is now. The orcs look better in the newer version, obviously. Now orcs have a better racial for running warrior, but I'm an undead guy, especially when it comes to running a death knight, which is a my all-time favorite class. That will not come until this server eventually moves to Wrath of Lich King, which will probably be a while before that. I'll show you my gear set up here. It's my item level as of right now. Main abilities with the warrior obviously is going to be strength, stamina, and also agility. Unlike where paladin, you really kind of need some intellect in that because you're using mana on your attacks. This one you do not at all. It's based off of range. I've joined a very helpful guild here as well. Scallywag and Catch of the Day. These guys are super nice. They are building a raid team for TBC, so if you're wanting to try the game out and join Horde, I would definitely say come join these guys. They have a Discord set up as well, and they're not your elitist group who's your know-it-all. Pretty much, they're not the people that's going to be like they're right and everybody else is wrong. You're not going to get that with these people, most of them. There was one guy like that here, but he ended up leaving, which is, I think, is very good for this group not to have that, because those type of people tend to spread that like cancer, and it kills a group, kills a raiding group for sure. Here's your so on your XP, you can, if you wanted to go back your standard 1x, you can. I have it set on default, obviously. More worried about getting to 60 in that, and I can start working on my professions, which have blacksmithing, mining, and then fishing. Once I max out, then I'll max those out and get them ready for TBC. You can only have 2 main professions per toon. And your professions really want to be co-assigned with your classes choose. Alrighty, so now we're on the other continent here, where the works end up settling. Here is the Gates of Orgrimmar, the Horde main location. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the Black Gate, Lord of the Rings. I used to play Lothar for years as well. A raiding guild, KOK, Knights Kingstead. As you can see, it's taking a little bit to load everybody in because there's a lot of people that's going to be here in Warcraft. It's a night and day when it comes to population from Alliance to Horde. But like I said, a lot of the racials kind of unfortunately changed that. But in TBC, it should balance it out a bit. But here we are in the Horde. So as you guys can see, this is a very active server in Warmane. You don't have to pay that monthly fee. And if you're like me who likes World of Warcraft Classic, I would definitely come give this server a try. It is a progressive server. There's definitely new guilds being formed or old guilds building back up because of the new TBC announcement. So pretty cool. Once again, I'm glad to be back making videos and stuff again. I'll start doing a lot more here on World of Warcraft. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys on the next one.